The unbreakable bond. In the guiding light of the Qur'an, God establishes the sacred bond between a child and parent, but also the ultimate boundary. And we have enjoined upon man goodness to parents. But if they strive to make you associate with me, that of which you have no knowledge, then do not obey them. Qur'an chapter 29, verse 8. This verse, a cornerstone of faith, was not revealed in a vacuum. It was sent down from the heavens to address the very real, heart-wrenching dilemma faced by one young man, Saad ibn Abi Waqqas. His story of a mother's desperate emotional blackmail and a son's unwavering faith outlines one of life's most profound dilemmas. What happens when the two greatest loves, the unconditional love for a mother and the absolute love for God, are pitted against each other? Where does loyalty lie when a mother's embrace becomes a cage and a son's faith demands a choice that could break her heart? Our story begins in Mecca, a city of sun-scorched pride and tribal loyalties. Here lived a young man named Saad ibn Abi Waqqas, a lion cub of the Quraysh. As a member of the noble Banu Zuhra clan, the very tribe of the Prophet Muhammad's mother Amina, he was born into privilege and respect. He was a gifted archer, his aim unerring, and a young man known for his thoughtful nature. But his most defining characteristic was his profound, all-encompassing love for his mother, Hamna bint Sufyan. He was the center of her world, and she the bedrock of his. Then a new voice began to whisper through the city's valleys. It was the voice of his distant cousin, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, peace and blessings be upon him, calling people to a truth that was both simple and earth-shattering. There is only one God. For the powerful chieftains of Mecca, this message was a threat to their idols, their economy, and their entire way of life. But for a 17-year-old Saad, whose heart was pure, it was the truth his soul had always known. He became one of the first to secretly embrace Islam, finding a peace in the Prophet's company that the rituals of his forefathers could never offer. He had found his path, but he did not yet know that it would lead him through a valley of unimaginable heartache.
The Mother's Oath.
When the secret of Saad's new faith finally reached his mother, her world imploded. The son she adored had, in her eyes, committed the ultimate betrayal, not just of her, but of their ancestors, their tribe, and their gods. Her disbelief curdled into a desperate, furious grief. "Oh, Saad, what is this religion that has stolen you from your mother? Have you traded my love for this new god?" Saad, his heart aching at her pain, tried to explain. He spoke of the beauty of his new faith, assuring her that it commanded him to honor her even more. But his calm conviction was like fuel on the fire of her desperation. If pleas and tears would not work, she would resort to a weapon only a mother could wield, her own life. She made a terrifying oath. "By our gods," resolute, "I will not taste a single morsel of food, nor will I drink a single drop of water until you renounce this new religion. Let the people say that Saad has killed his own mother." The ordeal began. Hamna, a woman of formidable will, refused all sustenance. Saad was thrown into a crucible of torment. This was his mother, the woman who had nurtured him, now withering away before his eyes because of a choice he had made. He would bring her food, his hands trembling, begging her to eat. "My mother, please do not do this. You know there is no one on this earth I love more than you, but my love for God and His messenger is greater still." Each time she would turn her face away. The news of her hunger strike became the scandal of Mecca. The whispers followed him everywhere. "There is the boy who starves his mother. What kind of faith teaches such cruelty?" He was trapped in an impossible vice, squeezed between the two greatest duties of his life. Days bled into one another. Hamna grew perilously weak. Her body was frail. Her lips were cracked, but her eyes still burned with a conviction that her son would eventually break. She summoned him for what she believed would be the last time. Her voice, a fragile whisper. The choice was laid bare. Me or your God? The verse from the heavens, Saad looked at the woman he loved more than life itself. Her body a testament to the agonizing choice she had forced upon him. The emotional war within him had reached its final desperate battle. Tears streamed down his face, but through them his soul found an anchor of unshakable certainty. He leaned close to her and spoke, his voice filled with a sorrowful but absolute firmness. "Oh, my mother, by God, you know how much I love you. But I swear by that same God, if you had 100 souls and they were to leave your body one by one, I would not abandon my faith for anything." The words, though spoken in love, were as final as a mountain. For the first time, Hamna saw not her boy, but a man whose conviction could not be broken, not by her tears, not by public shame, not even by her own death. The siege was over. Her will collapsed. Defeated by the sheer force of his faith, she gave up her oath and finally agreed to eat and drink. Though the immediate crisis was over, a question must have haunted Saad. In choosing God, had he been too harsh? Had he failed in his duty to show kindness? It was in this moment of private anguish that the heavens intervened. A revelation descended upon the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. A verse that spoke directly to Saad's ordeal, a divine counsel for all time. God revealed, "But if they, parents, strive to make you associate with me that of which you have no knowledge, then do not obey them, but accompany them in this world with appropriate kindness." Qur'an, chapter 31, verse 15. The words were a balm on Saad's wounded heart. They were a divine vindication. He was right not to obey his mother in the one matter that superseded all others, but the verse did more. It commanded him, and every believer forevermore, to continue to treat such parents with respect and beautiful companionship. He had been firm in his faith, and now God commanded him to be gentle in his conduct. The personal trial of one young man had become a universal principle for all of humanity, the archer whose prayer was answered. This trial was the fire that forged Saad ibn Abi Waqqas into a legend. Having passed this ultimate test, he was blessed with a courage and a connection to God that few could match. He holds the honor of being the first Muslim to ever shoot an arrow in defense of the faith. His skill with the bow was unparalleled, but it was his unwavering loyalty that became his true mark. At the devastating Battle of Uhud, when the Muslim lines broke and the Prophet's own life was in peril, Saad was a human fortress. He stood his ground, firing arrow after arrow with deadly accuracy. The prophet, witnessing his valor, would hand him arrows himself, saying words he never spoke to any other. "Shoot, Saad," passionately. "May my mother and father be sacrificed for you." So pleased was the prophet with him that he made a special prayer. "O God, make his aim true and answer his prayer whenever he calls upon you." This prayer was so profoundly answered that Saad became known as the one whose supplications are guaranteed. To be the target of Saad's prayer was to feel the immediate effect of divine intervention. He was named one of the 10 companions promised paradise in their lifetimes. As a commander, he led the Muslim army to a history-altering victory against the Persian Empire at the Battle of Qadisiyah, forever changing the map of the world. From the agonizing choice in his mother's room to commanding armies that toppled empires, Saad's journey was an epic of faith. His life teaches us that our most painful, private struggles, when met with unwavering devotion to God, can become the very foundation of our greatest strengths, leaving a legacy that guides and inspires for all time.